Hey, what's going on? This is D, and I represent New Touch Auto. In this video, we got a set of 30-inch rims we're gonna wrap. We're gonna vinyl wrap it with this nice red film. You wanna learn how to do so? Stay tuned. So let's begin with our objective. Now what we're gonna do is vinyl wrap these rims. So therefore, we gotta select a pattern. The pattern that we're gonna select is pretty much flat surface. So if we select a flat surface, we won't have any issues with the pullback. Now the pullback comes when heat is activated on this film. And once that film is activated with heat, it pretty much adheres to the vehicle. But if you stretch it too far, the pullback is gonna come to where that film is gonna draw back. With this vinyl wrap, we gotta make it easier. You don't wanna make it difficult. What makes it difficult is when you try to wrap this entire rim and do areas that that film doesn't cover well. You pretty much have to piece that rim a lot just to get it to cover. Some areas you just can't get over. The pattern we're gonna select is the flat surface. And we're gonna take it all the way here, take the splits. We're gonna take it all the way down to the line here, and this face here, we're gonna leave black. When it comes down to cutting this film, some people use knifeless tape. Knifeless tape will help you not put the blade on the surface of a car, or in this case, these rims. I'm experienced in doing this, so therefore, I know how to maneuver with the blade. If you decide to use the direct blade to your rims, or even your car, the key is a sharp blade. Once you clip it to be a sharp blade, you can glide across the film, and that film, it'll cut it nicely. Another option, you can spray wrap this rim. If you spray wrap the rim, you won't have any issues. You can spray wrap this entire wheel and it's gonna cut every angle that it needs to itself. Now the thing about a spray wrap is different, but it's the same as a vinyl wrap. As you see, the vinyl wrap has the film already placed out for you. The color and everything is already together. Each step of the process is right here. Spray wraps, you got to build up to that vinyl wrap finish. So there's a process. Very time consuming, but both are worth it and both removes the same exact weight. But the more longevity will come with a vinyl wrap. The goal is to vinyl wrap this rim so it can look exactly like this right here. You have a nice design in there to where it looks factory and no one will ever know that that's a vinyl wrap. To begin the process, you gotta be able to wash and clean it with the proper ingredients. Now here are two options that I prefer to use when it comes down to that. The Dawn Heavy Duty Soap is my top choice. The Super Clean. Both are degrees and formulas, so they will do the job. If you don't clean that rim properly, you will have issues in the future. So the goal is to not go back on your work because this is a tedious job. My next step will be to proceed to the isopropyl alcohol. Now what you wanna do is wait till your wheel is clean and dry. You don't wanna have water beads surfacing around this rim because the vinyl wrap will not adhere to a wet wheel. My choice of isopropyl alcohol will be 70%. There are other percentages that you can use, but I would stick to the 70%. My experience over time, if you use anything such as 91 or 99%, it's a possibility for aftermarket paint to where that 91 or 99% alcohol could brittle the clear coat or any aftermarket paint. Once clear coat gets underneath that wrap, it's no good. Then you have to cut a new piece. So make sure you use the proper percentage. Like I said, 70% is my top choice. Now let me explain the diagram that I used to cut out this piece. This rim is a 30-inch rim. Therefore, you want to at least have 30 inches from corner to corner. Most cases, you want to go at least 2 inches above that or 4. You want to go too much because if you do go too much, what's going to happen is you're going to have too much material on the outside. I have just enough on the outside to be able to cut around and have enough space. So what I'll do is cut this piece, but I won't cut onto the rim. I'll leave space and I will use those pieces for these areas here. These areas I'm gonna do separate. I don't wanna do it at the same time because it's gonna be too much stretch. The film needs to be relaxed. And once you relax that film, you won't have any potential pullback in the future. When you lay this film, most films, you can't get too much stretch out of it. These rims are deep dish rims. That rims in the areas that I'm trying to wrap are all the way inside this rim. That's too much to press down on. So what I'll do is I would take my film and I will center it inside and work my way around and then work my way out. If I work my way around here, the film will be relaxed and it won't draw up and pull back. What I'll do, I got my finger, pretty much the knuckle of my finger on the edge, and I make sure that I don't cut too far in. All right, so we're gonna take our pieces, we're gonna set them to the side, and I'll explain to you what we're gonna do with these pieces and how we're gonna lay it onto that wheel. Trust me, every time you start a project, you wanna have a sharp blade. Sharp blade is gonna be the very thing that's gonna make you be successful when it comes down to these cuts. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and remove the film from the back side. Stick my corner down, and it's gonna hold onto the wheel. And we'll just stretch it across. So we got our stretch across. We'll go ahead and even everything out. Make sure we got enough coverage. So now that we see our circumference is covered, we're not gonna be cutting the edge, so therefore I'll be leaving my extra material here. Now, in most cases, you have certain wheels where the rim or the wheel is kind of sitting up high, close to the edges. You can leave this film such as this right here, and you can lay it from this pattern. But since this rim is so deep down inside, you have to get it to the center and work your way around, such as I explained in the video earlier. So this will be more difficult versus a smaller wheel or a wheel that's not deep dish such as this one here. We're gonna go ahead and take our glove, and we got our heat gun sitting to the side. But this glove is gonna save you from any future damages to your hand, fingers, or your palms. So now that we have our circumference here covered, we're gonna go ahead and start out by lifting up a certain corner. We got our corner down. Once we get our center down, we can go from there. And I'll show you where we're gonna start to get everything pretty much laid out to the area that we're gonna go. So we're gonna get our center down. We got that down, and we're gonna go ahead and press down on the areas that we need to go to. Now, if you come to an area to like here, see how that crinkles? I will show you how we're gonna get around that area once we clear the majority of the other portions of this rim. So now we have this area here situated, right? This area is situated. Everything is laid down the way that we want it to go. It's flat, and we don't have any issues here. But this is an issue. We can't lay this down because it's gonna just crinkle up. What we'll have to do, we're gonna take our heat gun. Our heat gun is gonna help us lay this film as flat as possible without any crinkles or any distortion. Keep your heat gun moving. You don't wanna keep it in an area because you'll burn through the film or you'll distort the film. So you can go to a low or high pressure. Just lift up the film. You don't have to pull on it. Just lift it up, and we're gonna get everything smooth. And you wanna follow those wrinkles. As you have your heat gun, just keep it moving, and you'll see those wrinkles pretty much disappear. Once you see that disappear, go ahead and lay your heat gun down, and then you can smooth out those areas that you have the crinkles or the wrinkles. As you see, I'm working my way out. Those wrinkles are there, so I'll stop there. and I'll come back to that. I'll use my heat gun in the same position. Now we're gonna get this middle area here. Lift up on your film, keep it moving from left to right, and you'll see those wrinkles disappear. They'll flatten out. Here, what I'm doing is directing the film where I want it to go. If you don't direct that film, it's gonna do what it's pretty much naturally supposed to do. Follow the pattern of everything else. So we're almost done. The key is to do everything with less heat possible. The less heat, the more understanding and the more confidence that you'll have knowing that your material won't pull back. So this is gonna be pretty much the last area we're gonna need to do to get this film laid centered in the proper form. See that wrinkle there? Just gonna take it up and start it there. You got wrinkles, wrinkles will come out. Apply your heat, and the film will go back to its natural state. As long as you don't pull on it too far, you won't have any issues. We work our way out. So now we got our center laid. It's gonna be easier to lay this film. Go back to this area here. We have wrinkles. What we do, lift up on that area. Lift it up, make sure there's no dirt or moisture or anything, grease, grime, or anything underneath your fingers, because it'll be a defense and it'll agitate this film to where it won't lay properly. We place the heat over it. We see that the wrinkles have disappeared, and we place our film down the way that we want it to go. So now, the edges that I have them going to are right there where I need them to be. That word or that logo, we're gonna do that last, and I'll show you how to get over that logo. It's Asante, and that word we're gonna cover, and I'll show you how to do so. So underneath this wheel are the areas that are spaced out. We don't need film in these areas. So we're gonna make it easy to lay this film. With these areas open like this, we're just gonna cut a straight line, and we're gonna have that film split to where I want it to go. So now that I see that I have my wheel surface that I wanna wrap starts here, we're gonna keep that. We're gonna take our blade, and we're gonna start away from that line. And that's gonna give me plenty of room to maneuver. And we're just gonna cut straight down to where we have this opening here. Once you cut it, it's just gonna lay and it's just gonna stick. And you don't wanna have to keep doing that. So what I do is I kinda cut it away, gives it a little room to where the film is not gonna come in contact, and now I can maneuver it better. So this piece here doesn't overlap that piece, and it sticks together and it keeps moving up my sections. That there can be very annoying. So I'll do that to each corner and each circumference that I'm trying to cover. So now we have the blades of the wheel separated to where we want it to go. Now there's another area on this wheel to where the blades will split, and that'll be like right in this area here. Now that area we'll cut once we get it down further. This is where you want to take your time. You don't want to rush the process. You're almost there. You take your squeegee and you just press it down to the areas that are flat until it gets to the split. Once it gets to that split, which is here, see, that's where the split begins here. So we're gonna do the same thing we did for this area, we're gonna do for this area here. And trust me, it's gonna make it easier to lay that wheel. You can go all the way down, but it's pretty much gonna make it difficult because this is gonna keep sticking to the outside of this wheel, and it's gonna make it kind of difficult to finish off the way you want it to lay. Stay a close eye to it, cut, to prevent it from sticking. Go ahead and cut a small piece here so it doesn't connect. So we'll take our squeegee, take the film, and we'll lay it straight down into the area that we want it to lay. Gonna do the same for this. Squeegee it out, take it all the way down. Got an area here that has a bubble. You can either press down on that bubble, or you can take your blade, you can poke it, and then smooth it out. Now this area here, where we have the logo of the wheel, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our heat gun and we're gonna soften the film to where we can press down into that logo. If you don't do that, what's gonna happen is, as soon as you get out that door and that heat activate, it's just gonna be a bubble. You don't want the bubble effect, so you want it to lay in there properly. So we're gonna take it past the A, gonna come up, give it some air. So we're right at the corner. We have breathing room. We're gonna go ahead and soften the film. And you wanna move it in a direction circular or up and down. You don't wanna stay in that form. Now, you don't have to get it too hot. You just wanna make sure you have enough heat so where that glue is activated on the bottom. So we're gonna take our thumb with the glove, and we're just gonna go inside those areas and make sure that we get it pressed down before we proceed to the next letter of this logo. So now we have it placed inside that logo. Everything is pressed down. We don't have any air lifting underneath. So now that we have this done, what I'll do is go ahead and cut on my edges here, because there are rivets that's on the outside of this rim or this wheel that I need to cut around. And then I'll take my cut and then I'll go inside and cut everything. Now I'll show you what we're gonna do when we cut this film to avoid cutting the actual wheel. I'm only gonna do this side and then I'll show you what it looks like after. So what I'll do for this is the middle. What I'll do is take just enough blade to where I can press on the side of that panel, and then I can rub across, angling it up, not down, because you press down and go this way, you're only gonna cut into the paint. So angle your blade up, press down, find that base, and just run it across. Take it here, and start pretty much anywhere. So I'll just start here. I'll poke inside and poke down so I can feel the base, and I'll just run my blade on the exterior of the wheel. That way I'm avoiding cutting the rim or the wheel. Now for this base here, we'll do the same. I'll only cut this edge and then I'll take you around once I do everything and complete it. Take just enough, take it to that corner, find that area in the best format that you can find it. You just want to give it a poke. Once you give it a poke, you'll find that edge, run that blade around the circumference. This is a very tedious job and you have to be careful. And the way to be careful is taking your time. Now we have our area here cut out. We'll do this area separate, but for now, this is what our goal is. Get it cut in this form. All right, so now that we got everything cut out on the exterior, we're gonna do this separate piece here. So we're gonna take our piece, I'll measure it out. We're not gonna worry about this here, which we can smoothen out, and I'll just show you as an example. That wrinkle there, just lift up on it, give it a little heat. Take it up, give it a little heat. Once the heat's applied, then we can pretty much form that inside to where we have no wrinkles. You wanna make sure you have no pullback. So the edges, what I'm gonna do is just lift up on them and just relax the film inside. This line right here that you see, we're gonna cut that bottom piece. And that's gonna pretty much break off our edge. You can use knifeless tape. This is the tape that I like to use. You can purchase this off of Amazon. And this knifeless tape here, you can pretty much purchase any type. I like to use this one. What I do, place it alongside here. Once I make my cut, I can split this film, pull that knifeless tape, and it's gonna make the cuts for me. Therefore, I won't have to put the blade onto this wheel and possibly damage the outside or the wheel itself. Sharp areas, so I need a sharp blade. This here would decrease possibility of me damaging this wheel with scratches. So I'm gonna follow this pattern that I have here. I'm just gonna follow it, but I'm gonna glide my blade across without pressure. Take my form. It's without pressure. Now, what I would do is go ahead, I can go ahead and peel this, take it away. Next step will be to cut here. So I will find the area, direction where I'm going so I won't have to make too many stops. Take my blade, find the edge, and I will run my blade alongside that edge. So I'm gonna finish off the rest of them and we'll come back and we'll focus on these areas here when I come back. So with the center cap hole, take your blade and remember, hit the base, face the blade up in a up direction, and just rub it across that base. Don't press down and face it that way, because if you face it that way, you're only gonna cut into the paint and you'll be scraping up the paint as you cut. So we're gonna go inside. We're gonna start in an area. We're just gonna poke through. Wherever we can poke through flat, that's where we're gonna start. And just go all the way around it in that same format that you started. So our heat will lay down into there, and we'll do the same for these holes here. Go inside, find that sweet spot, cut it out. Inside, take your time. Remember, sharp blade, cut the hole out. And the heat gun is gonna lay our edges onto the wheel. It's gonna activate that glue, and that glue underneath that vinyl wrap will adhere to the wheel. Once you do that, make sure you have your gloves to avoid any burns. Just press down your edges. And we're gonna do the same thing for the entire wheel. We'll heat up our edges. You wanna keep your heat gun in front of you. You wanna have it on your finger. Just keep it in front of you. And press down on your areas like so. So you wanna heat up your entire surface. If you rub down, make sure everything is rubbed down, all your edges are sealed, then voila, you have your finish. The sun is gonna determine whether you place this on properly or you got any other areas that may be overstretched. If you have that issue, sometimes you can save it. You can save those areas. Some cases you can't, you'll have to redo the entire wheel or that area. So let's do a quick rundown on exactly what we did to this wheel. Now our centerpiece, we decided to do the center cap. We got that wrapped in the same color and everything blends properly. This middle piece here is one piece all together. This piece here was a separate piece. We did that after we completed this center piece here. I've shown you how to get around this, the indents of the words or the logo. I've shown you how to get around those circles, and I've shown you how to proceed with your cuts. Now with those cuts, just keep in mind, nothing will be perfect. The ideal is to just, do something different to your vehicle or your car without damaging it. It's not that serious. If you have an issue, just redo it or find a way to fix the issue. So that concludes the end of the video. Now this right here, you can't tell me that you won't stand out from any other vehicle on the road that has the same style or similar style to yours. Make your vehicle or your car part stand out, vinyl wraps or spray wraps. The benefit to this is 100% removable. If you apply it correctly over the proper surface, you won't have any issues when it's time to remove this product. Thank y'all for checking out this video. My subscribers, man, I appreciate y'all. For those who haven't, please feel free to do so. Hit that subscribe button down below. Want to see more videos like this? Notify yourself. Hit that notification bell. Thank y'all for watching. Catch you on the next video.